Today we're going to talk about how to handle the dreaded shopper who's shopping around looking for who's going to give them the best deal. I don't know. They sometimes are awesome and they're sometimes annoying. So I'm going to go into how to deal with those. Hi, I'm Janice Wheeler. I'm the president of The Art of Management. And today I thought I would talk to you about shopper handlings because this is a very big issue in practices. The reason it's a big issue is the average patient, depending on what profession you are, will spend somewhere between $1,500 to $3,500 during their stay with you. So every shopper lost on the phone when they call in that you spent dollars to drive into your practice to make that call, every shopper lost is going to cost you that amount, whatever the right amount for your practice is. And we also know from a study that was done that every receptionist loses 2 to 5 shoppers every week in Canada. So having those pieces of data, I think it's important that we figure out how can we not lose them and how can we turn them into patients. After all, this person took the time to call your practice. For whatever reason, and whoever referred them or however they heard about you, something made them call your practice and they have a need. So we'll start with those two facts as a beginning point. It may be they're calling on behalf of their mother to get some treatment or something. That can happen, but still there's a need. Somebody has a need and they're responsible for that. So typically, you've got a person who is called in and they're asking you a question. So you're the receptionist and you are now put on the spot being asked a question, so it's incoming at you. The first rule is that you want to take control of the conversation and guide it where you want it to go. And so you have to turn that around on them. All right, let's pretend you are a dentist just for a minute, no matter what profession you are. Let's just take an example here where a patient is phoning in and saying, how much is it for a crown? Now, that's a question being aimed at the receptionist, and she is now at the effect of that question, and she needs to turn the tables on that and gain control of the conversation. So she could say something like, thank you for asking me that question. I'm going to answer that for you, but if you don't mind, would it be all right with you if I ask you a few questions first? They almost always will agree with you that it's okay for you to do that. And so you want to ask some things like, I'll give some examples like, what tooth is hurting? How much is it hurting? When did it start? Have you had problems with this tooth before? Is it waking you up at night? That kind of thing. So you sort of get the idea of how much problem this person is having with this tooth. And when you've done that and you've gotten the answers to that, you'll have some good idea how soon this person needs to come in. You could also say, may I ask also, how did you hear about the practice today? Let's say they say, my friend Sally Jones down the street told me about you guys. This is a really good sign because number one, you've probably got a close for sure here because this person has been referred by someone. But what you could say to this lady or man is, well, the next time you see Sally Jones, could you tell her from us that we really appreciate her taking the time to talk to you about us? That was very kind of her. By the way, is that your child that I hear in the background? So if you hear some noises like dogs barking or kids or things like that, you want to build a relationship with this person, not just be another office that they called today to get a quote and be told, ask the question, would you like an appointment? You want to avoid those two questions. How much is it? And would you like an appointment? Because would you like an appointment could be answered, no, I'll think about it, something like that. And you don't want that. That would be a bad thing because what you want to do is say, listen, I have appointments available for you. Do you prefer mornings or afternoons? And they say afternoons. Okay, good. That's good. I can find you 2 appointments you can choose between. I have one at 2 o'clock and I have one at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Do either of those times work for you? If they don't, then you give them 2 more times the following day or the next week, depending on what's being said. But you always give them a choice of this or that, not yes or no. All right? At some point, after you've done all that you can to divert them, the patient may come back to that question of how much is it? Because it's on their mind and they do have a budget. People do have concerns about money, so you're going to have to address it at that point if they're asking again. Now, you could turn the tables on them and say, okay, have you had anybody diagnose this on you already that you need to have a crown? And if they say, well, yeah, I had a dentist tell me that I needed a crown. Okay, good. Did he say what kind of crown? Because there are all kinds of different kinds of crowns that you could have to have. Did he say whether you needed a root canal as well? Did he say that there were other cheaper solutions that might be possible? No? Okay. Well, fine. Sounds like we should get you in for a consult then. It's just a quickie meeting with the dentist to have a quick look at it. And there's a small fee for that. And let's find out. Let's take care of you here. Because maybe you don't need a crown. Maybe there's another solution. But we want to make sure that we diagnose the right thing for you, which suits you. I mean, it's kind of like if you had called in and said, let's say I'm a garage owner. And you called in and said, my car is broken and I've got the hood open and I'm going to hold the phone over the engine. Can you tell me how much it will cost to repair it? The garage owner won't be able to answer that for you because he can't tell what's wrong or anything. So you're going to have to bring the car in to get it looked at. Well, as a patient, it's pretty much the same thing. We can't diagnose on the phone and give you the best answer that is the right thing for you to do. So therefore, let's make a consult. Now, does morning or afternoon work better for you? So you come back to that again. Now, let's say on the other side of things that the patient says, no, nobody's told me that that is what I need to have. I just presumed it. Okay, now you go, okay, this is the time for you to step in and actually get them to close for a consult, as I just discussed, that they should come in and get that done so we can find out what would be the best solution for the problem you're experiencing. We do want to get you out of pain, and we do want to salvage the tooth if at all possible. So we'll go with those ideas, and let's get an appointment for you so that the dentist can do his best work in order to help you and go for the close of the time, morning, afternoon, this time or that time. All right, let's take some other scenarios. Let's say the person phones in, they're not in pain, they're just phoning in, hi, I just moved in the area, are you accepting new patients? Okay, that could very well happen, and I'm sure does a fair amount of the time. At this point, you want to say, well, welcome to the neighborhood. When did you move in? Turn the tables and start asking questions and getting to know them. I mean, the bottom line is you want to build a rapport with this patient. They may have shopped around to other practices. Be different than them. Don't just say, hi, sure, would you like an appointment? And be the same, so not uncaring, but a receptionist in a rush. You don't want to come across like that. You want to build a rapport and take a couple of minutes to do this, because it's a lot of effort that the practice has gone to attract this person to your practice. So you want to take the time to actually turn them into a new patient, and don't assume because they're calling you necessarily that they are going to just become a patient just like that. You want to build a rapport, be a little different, ask questions. If you hear, you can ask, how many kids do you have? Do you live in the area? Do you work in the area? How long have you lived in the area? If they say they've just moved to the area, say, do you live in a house or an apartment? You know, that kind of thing. Like, whoever answers the phone has to really like people, and they have to be interested in them and show that to the patient, because that makes you different than lots of other practices where the staff are too rushed or too in a hurry, too not caring or not interested in people. And if I'm choosing a new practice, I want to feel that from the front desk onward, that they're going to really care about me and I'm important to them. All right, so that has to come across in the conversation. Another point is, if the person really is in pain, by the way, you want to get them in as fast as humanly possible. Waiting till tomorrow is not the best possible service. It is best if you have a schedule that has an opening or two each day where you can do catch-up or slide an emergency patient into, so that you can see them. It's only a quick consult that you're seeing them to see what the matter is and what they need to do. So you want to get them in right away, the same day if at all possible, especially when they're in pain. All right, because this is what they're coming to see you for. Turn the tables and build a rapport with this person, build a relationship. bottom line, that's what the first impression is of your practice, is whether or not the person on the front desk cares about you. So there you go. There's some helpful hints for you. And if you use those 2 rules of grabbing control of the conversation and guiding it where you want to, avoiding the cost factor if you possibly can, unless it's going to upset them, and build rapport and get them into the practice as soon as you can. All right, I hope you learned something today and that this will be useful to you. If you liked it, please give us a like and be sure and share this video with others, and you can subscribe to our channel and watch for more of these, because our endeavor is to give you help to run your business. So thank you for being here today. Bye for now.
To get your practice analyzed, contact the Art of Management at 416-466-6217.